Hi, my name is Nathan Schultz. I'm the founder of Boulder Nordic Sport. This segment is on applying Klister to your kick zone. Klister is one of the most intimidating parts of cross-country skiing. It's kind of nasty, it's sticky, and people are really afraid of it. You shouldn't be. It's actually pretty easy to apply and remove if you know the tricks. Once you get on it and figure it out, it is fabulous. It's some of the best skiing that there is. So don't be afraid of it. Follow these easy tips and you should have fun. Like all kickwaxing, it's pretty straightforward, except that there are 1,000 different Klisters to use, and knowing when to use them takes some experience. But the principles, if you follow them, you can do this with 4 or 5 different Klisters and really cover 99% of conditions. You know, the World Cup racers and elite level teams will have boxes and boxes of Klister. You don't need that. It's pretty straightforward, it's pretty simple. The most important thing is that you apply the material correctly, and we can show you how to do that. Just like kickwaxing, the materials that we need, we're going to start with sandpaper. We'll need a cork, and we'll need some Klister, obviously. It's good to have some Fiberline on hand because this stuff is messy. We'll also need some wax remover to clean it up and a kickwax scraper to help out with that job. The other important element is some sort of a heat source. If you have electricity, a heat gun is fantastic to work with. You can also use a propane torch. You can also use an iron in certain circumstances. We're going to start by sanding the base and getting the kick zone prepared so that we have some durability. This stuff is goopy and it needs something to adhere to. If you don't rough up this base, there will not be a very good connection between your wax and your ski base, and the wax will come off quickly. So for durability's sake, especially in icy conditions, in most Klister conditions, you need to have a good bind between the bottom layer of Klister and your ski. So again, between 80 and 120 grit, depending on your preference. We're not going to go side to side, just straight back and forth. Make sure that you're not rounding off the ski base by pushing to one side. Just nice, consistent, even strokes. The length of your kick zone. In general, Klister is going to be a much thicker application than hard wax. So if you don't have a specific pair of Klister skis, you're going to want to bring your kick zone in over what you use in hard wax. Here at Boulder Nordic Sport, the skis that we sell, we put on our flex tester so that we can map out the kick zone. And what we do is we mark the heights of the kick zone at your half weight. So this is a good indication of where the Klister zone is going to start. Is usually right around 0.2 to 0.3 millimeters off of the flex tester base. That's a good sign that the camber's high enough to support that thick Klister application without dragging. We're going to start by applying a binder wax. Depending on the conditions, how icy and aggressive they are, we'll need a more aggressive binder. The length of the race or the ski that you're doing, that's going to determine how hard of a binder you need. Binders are slow, so we don't want to use the most aggressive binder all the time. There's a range of binders. This Rhodi Chola is the most sticky substance known to man and will adhere quite well in icy conditions, aggressive conditions. But again, it's slow, so we don't want to use it unless we need to. A lot of times you can just use a blue Klister or a green Klister, which will be quite fast and give you that adhesion that you need to the base, but still remain fast. So we can choose our battle there based on the conditions. To apply the base Klister, in most conditions, even at room temperature, you're going to want to heat this up just a little bit to get it molten, so you can heat the top of the tube. And what we want is to be able to apply this in a nice chevron pattern, in a thin pattern on the ski so that we can smooth it out. We want this to be as thin as possible, but still cover the ski base. You'll want to keep this capped all the time so it doesn't run out all over the table. Your fingers are going to get sticky, just deal with that. But if you're cautious and you have Fiberline handy at all times, you can keep your workspace clean and it doesn't get too out of control. Now that the Klister's on the ski, we're going to heat it up and smooth it out. This is the base layer, so this wax is pretty hard and not very tacky unless it's heated up. So first I'll heat it up gently. Again, be careful, these heat guns are hot and can burn your hand and the ski base, so just run it quickly down the ski, kind of right in front of your thumb. You can also use your thumb or the heel of your hand, but we just want to heat this up, heat this into the base, and get a nice, smooth, thin application. Sometimes you'll get a section where initially you put too much wax on here. That's what I did right here at the front. So all I'm going to do is get a piece of Fiberline, heat this up, and wipe some of it off, just like that. And now I'm ready to continue the application, heating it up, smoothing it in. Again, watch out, don't burn your hands or the ski base. But this heat helps the wax get melted into the base, and it also smooths it out. You can see we have a nice, smooth, very thin application. We want this to be as smooth and thin as we can get it. It should almost just be like a really tacky layer that you can't see on the ski. Once we have the base wax on the ski, we need to let that cool. And then we can apply the wax of the day. The Klister is usually done in layers. It's usually 2 layers, the base layer and then the wax of the day. You can also cover Klister with a hard wax or even a very fine shell of a harder Klister, but generally you put a hard wax on top or just leave this top layer of Klister. It will go on a little bit thicker than our base layer, but again, we still want to keep this clean. We don't want Klister running down the sides of the ski. We want everything to be really thin and smooth. So again, we're going on top of our base wax here, and we're applying these small chevrons just to get the ski covered and enough material on there. You can always go back later and put on more wax. So, start with less and add more. If you're going to mix Klisters, which you can do, sometimes this might be too warm and you want to just cool it down a little bit so it's not icing. You can take another Klister, mix it in there, and what you do is you alternate chevrons. So you space this one out a little bit more, and then you do this in between, and then you mix them all together as you heat the wax in. A lot of times, if you're using a soft Klister, you won't even need to use a heat gun at this point. I'm working in the summer, so the temperature is pretty warm. I won't need the heat gun. If you're working outside in the winter, you usually will need to hit it. Be careful, you're trying not to melt and mix the base layer. You're trying to put the top coat on top of the wax, not mix it. So don't overheat it and just mix everything together. A lot of times, even if you're very cautious, you might get a lot of Klister in the groove. That's generally undesirable. You can just take some Fiberline, bunch it up, and run it down the groove, and then smooth it out again, all that Klister that's come out. So you can see the Klister is smooth, consistent, it's thin. The next step is to go let this cool down outside in the snow. If you ski on it while it's molten like this, it will come off right away. I'm Nathan Schultz. Thanks for watching this segment on Klister. Make sure that you check out all of our how-to videos and our website at bouldernordic.com.